Hello, everyone. These last few days, I've been thinking a lot about friendship and about the importance of friendship. Um, Recently, a friend has been in touch who has recovered from the coronavirus, and another friend has been in touch who has lost a young loved one because of the virus. And I feel their pain, and I feel immense joy at having known these people in my life, and that we can share, sometimes over a great distance, very special friendship. And I was thinking about the nature of friendship, and the nature of friendship and faith, and the nature of friendship that we learn from the example of Christ. To put things in perspective, this week is Holy Week, and for most Christians throughout the world, Holy Week is very different this year. The principal period of Holy Week starts on Maundy, Thursday of this week, and on the evening of Maundy Thursday starts a very special holy observance. It's one service, one act of worship that takes place over 3 days, and it's known as the Holy Triduum. And it begins with remembering the Last Supper, a special meal and celebration that Jesus had with his friends before his death. And various things are remembered on that night. We remember Jesus being handed over, and any fine trimmings in our church are cleared away, and the church is left bare in preparation for what we call Good Friday, the day when we observe the crucifixion. But between the stripping of things away and between remembering the Last Supper, there's another thing that we recall, and that's Jesus washing the feet of those around him, of his disciples, of his friends. And it's a very special act, and it's something that many churches do where people have their feet washed at this time of year. And we do that to remember both Jesus washing the feet of his followers on that evening, but also how Jesus washed the feet of the whole world through his life, through his ministry, through his message. Jesus was a servant, and he was a friend to the downtrodden and to the outcast, the peoples on margins of society, those who found themselves unloved and unlovable. Jesus was there as a friend, and he showed those people around him what friendship really means. Friendship is not just about giving, and it's not just about receiving, it's about both of those things and more. Friendship is about a deep relationship and a deep experience of the heart with another person. When Jesus is washing feet, Peter, always Peter, doesn't want Jesus to wash his feet. And Jesus, and you see it in John's Gospel, turns to Peter and says, "Unless I wash your feet, you have no share with me." Because friendship is about giving and receiving. It's about humility. And the friendship that Christians are called to experience, both with Christ and with all the people we meet in the world. Because when we see anyone in the world, we are taught to see that person is to see the face of Jesus and to enter into a loving relationship with all the people we meet, regardless of how different to us they might be, or regardless of how we are different to them. Friendship is an essential component, I believe, to human existence. And I've been blessed in my life to have friendships that have touched my heart. Friendship can't be one-sided. Friendship is something whereby each person gives something to that relationship, and each person will receive something back from that relationship. That's a kind of human interaction that is deep and meaningful, that crosses boundaries and crosses imposed human structures within society. Friendship is greater than all of these things. And we see that time and again through the person of Jesus, who came eating and drinking, who was friends with the tax collector, friends with people who were regarded as having low moral virtue. And Jesus both gave and he received back from those people as well. We see that very much through the example of Mary, Martha, and Lazarus, and that home, which was a place of nourishment for Jesus, just as much as he gave nourishment to that home, that household. But let's think a bit about Peter. Peter is impetuous. Peter makes many, many mistakes. Jesus has a friendship with Peter. And on the Thursday night, on Maundy Thursday, Peter will deny Jesus 3 times. But we're shown in the story of the Passion of Christ and of the resurrection narrative that follows that Jesus is able to reconcile Peter to himself and himself to Peter. Friendship is about forgiveness and about overcoming human failure as well. When St. Paul talks about his friendship with God in 1 Corinthians 13, he reminds us that love is patient, kind, it's not envious nor boastful, it hopes all things, believes all things. And this is the kind of relationship that Christians are called to have with the whole world. And it's the kind of relationship that Christ encourages us to engage with himself. So as we think of Maundy Thursday, and as we think of the act of foot washing as an act of humble friendship, not just that we engage with God, but a humble friendship that we are encouraged to engage with one another and with the world, I want to leave you with a reflection on friendship. This icon here is known as the icon of friendship. It's really become famous because it was one of the favourite icons of Brother Roger of Teze, and a copy of it is displayed in the church in Teze. The icon itself is from the Egyptian Coptic church and probably dates to about the 7th century. The actual original copy of it can be found in the Louvre Museum in Paris. And what the icon shows us is the nature of friendship. We have on one side Jesus holding the book of the Gospels, and he's journeying beside his friend with his arms stretched around the back. Jesus doesn't lead through pushing or pulling. Jesus journeys alongside his friend, who in this icon is an abbot named Menace. Jesus journeys along beside his friend, and his friend, who represents all of us, has his hand stretched out in blessing. Through the friendship we experience with Christ and the blessing we receive through that friendship, we are encouraged to bless the world. Goodness and love and humility in friendship makes the world a better place. Jesus blesses others through us, and because we are willing to humble ourselves and let our feet be washed by Christ, and so we in turn will be able to wash the feet of the world, to live in service of the whole of humanity, and to see in the faces of those we meet the face of Christ. Amen.